Yeah.
That's too bad.
We'll talk about it. I mean, it's a shame. We'll save lives.
My wife took that because she was diagnosed with something that looked like lupus. She took it, never had any side.
Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, February the 23rd, 2021, a little past 1:30 in the afternoon, and the Kerr County Commissioners Court is in emergency session. Called this meeting after I declared a state of disaster yesterday, and wanted to have the opportunity to get reports on kind of where we are with this thing, because it's a mess. So the first thing we ask, is there anyone that wants to address the court that's not on the agenda, or about something that's not on the agenda? Okay, good. So let's go to the first item on the agenda is to consider discuss the power failure report from Bob Loft of the Central Texas Electric Co-op. We really appreciate you coming over to talk to us.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, Judge, guests, I guess. My name is Bob Lott, and I am the General Manager at Central Texas Electric Co-op. This has been a long, tough struggle. We started, and I don't want to go through the whole ordeal of how the weather got to where it was. We started with 2 inches of rain, an inch of ice, then some snow, and then some zero weather, and we had ERCOT. I'm not planning to speak to the rolling blackouts today. That was completely out of our control. I was asked to bring an update today, beginning, I have to get my days right, beginning, I guess, the Friday after the storm. We started losing, a lot of people lost power that Thursday evening. That Friday we were still in full blast restoration mode with my employees. We began to know that we were going to be without power for some days. And so we started working on a rebuild program is what I'll call it. So we have restoration, trying to get the power on that can be got on without, major damage to the lines. And then to follow would be the rebuild. We worked that, started
Bob,
making...
let me ask you, why don't you explain KPUB relation to Central Texas Electric Co-op?
Okay.
Because most people don't know that.
If you want, all right, okay. We serve into Kerr County, and we butt up to probably roughly half or maybe a little bit more of KPUB service territory. Bandera, I believe, is on the other side, or most of the other side. So we've had a long, good standing relationship with KPUB. They've been brothers with us. I can go back 15 years when the LCRA allowed us to buy partial power outside of the LCRA in Central Texas and KPUB and I believe the city of Georgetown. We were known as the Three Amigos. We did things different, we did them together. And that worked very well. Like I said, we've had a long, good standing relationship. When we were able to call for help and get help, obviously all of the other utilities in the state were having issues. They weren't sending people until they knew that they were safe. Same thing I would have done. Mike called me early in the process. Bob, if you need some help, we're here. They started working almost immediately because when those temperatures got down and all that ice was on the road into Fredericksburg, which is where our headquarters are, you couldn't get in or out going any direction. So for me to get crews was impossible. I had a call from someone, they offered me a helicopter, and I said, unless it can dig a hole, it's not going to do me any good. Okay? People couldn't get here, my calls, and they started picking up stuff that they could get to with the crews that they had available because they were still working some of their own issues. So again, I can't tell you, I don't have a better friend in the municipal industry than KPUB. That's the biggest compliment I can give you.
Mr. Loft, let me just explain, because the people can't see. The man standing behind you is Mike Whittler, and he's the general manager for KPUB, right?
That is correct.
And so we've got both of you here today to help us with this.
And I asked Mike to come because sometimes when you're talking to several people who really don't understand how we do things, it's nice to have someone in a room that's nodding their head and saying that makes sense, or maybe adding on to something that maybe I failed to say. The good thing about my opinion from a tag team perspective is I'm a financial person, okay? I'm not an engineer. I didn't design any of these lines. And Mike didn't either, but Mike is an engineer, so he can probably help me a lot on the engineering type questions that may come up. Okay? So anyway, we were in the midst of this and starting to plan our rebuild stage. Based on the information at the time, and I've got 150 people, 25 crews on the ground that started, well, we started getting crews, I think we were at 10 on Sunday, today we're at 25. So we started getting people in as we could. The logistics of getting rooms and serving meals to people working 16 hours a day is an incredible task just in itself. We were prepared, we've got that done, and I think we're not wasting any time. People say, well, why don't you have 1,000 people in here? Well, I don't have the materials for 1,000 people. I don't have the resources for that. I can get some help, but it doesn't do any good to have people standing around with hands in their pocket. Okay, that does no one any good.
Can you tell us where we're at right now?
I have a map.
What's down, what's up?
Well, I have a map laid out there.
Can you tell the people watching at home, the people in this room?
Well,
how many lines you have down? How many poles?
I can't tell you how many lines, and I can't tell you for sure how many poles. Our estimation is that we have about 1,000 three-phase poles down, which we call a main feeder, and we have probably at least that many single-phase poles down.
In what geographical area?
From in Gillespie County, which it's not a big concern for you, but I've got stuff down from 290 east of Fredericksburg, all the way north in Gillespie County, all the way down to I-10 in Kirk County. Kendall County did not take a major hit. Mason and Llano County, which we also serve, had almost no trouble other than transmission and substation issues. So I've heard, we all hear things. I've heard, well, all their poles are old and rotten. That's why they all fell over. If that's the case, that would have happened in Llano and Mason too. That's not a fact. We just built a three-phase a tie line just out of town here. We finished it last year. There's 20 brand new, one-year-old, not brand new, one-year-old poles that are snapped off the ground.
Bob, where does Central Texas Electric
Well,
provide power
let me
in
finish.
Kirk
Let me
County?
finish. Hold
I'm
on.
just trying to get to Kirk County.
I'm trying to get to the point here. And here's the deal. Is that from the weight of the ice? And they fell over and you got power lines on the ground. I want us to get a picture.
That had as much to do with it as anything else. In addition to that, there are lines where trees are grown over the lines, maybe outside of a right of way, and they fall onto the pole or onto the wire. And when there's that much weight on those wires, if you get one pole down, it's almost a miracle that there's not a domino effect. And that's the good news, is that didn't happen. It happened in some places. The most I've heard is 30 in a row. I drove out south of I-10 the other day, and the first 5 miles there was nothing down. And we got to the next one, and there's a pole down, and then for the next 10, it's either cross arms or poles broke off.
So that everybody understands, if I have cords plugged in from here to City Hall, and one of them's unplugged, I don't have power. So that's what you're talking about. So everybody understands, it's not necessarily because ERCOT that people didn't have power in some areas. In some areas it is. In other areas it's because we have down poles and we have down wires.
Right.
And that's what you're working on.
And that's what takes time in the restoration. And that's why I'm calling it a rebuild, because if we had multiple places where we only had one pole down, that's restoration. A rebuild is when you're rebuilding significant portions.
Where do you provide power in Kirk County?
I provide power in Kirk County, West Kirk County, East Kirk County, East Kirk County. It's Western Gillespie County, a lot of Mountain Home,
Mountain Home.
no, not Divide, Mountain Home, And Ingram Park, I mean, and Ingram is a kind of an interesting place.
But all those are West Cook
half
County.
acre, we do it, and everything north.
You said east, but that's west.
It's,
K-Pub service area is long and narrow through the county. It's probably about 40 miles long and about 5 miles north to south on average. And our service area generally follows the Guadalupe River.
Okay.
So SeaTech is north of us everywhere.
I see. Thanks,
Right.
Mike.
And on the
Gotcha.
west end, they go around on the western side.
Okay, so, thanks, Mike. That's
Are the
fine.
materials available to get this stuff done?
Turner?
Or is the manpower available?
the manpower is there. We decided that our target when we started developing our plan was to start with 25 crews. We're going to reassess tonight or tomorrow, and if we can take 5 more and keep them busy and working, yes, and materials is a part of that. Currently, we've got materials to work, and it appears that we've got a good pipeline set up. Our statewide association is also a distributor of electric products, and so that's a big deal for us. So I feel confident that we've got the materials. I feel confident that the manpower. And I think you're going to see big strides. I mean, we got full power man-wise yesterday, and I think we turned 2,000 people up. Okay? And I can't promise that's not going to happen every day, because it's going to get smaller and smaller, because the areas that we're working in are smaller, and you don't have as many big pieces to put on. Another thing I can quickly address is rumors out there we're turning the rich people on first. That's not true. We're going to the places where we can work the most efficiently, not use bulldozers to drag us around, get things done, and get the most people on.
Is there a makeshift? In other words, you're going to have to do a full assessment at some point and see where the danger might lie, that something else is going to fall, or that you have failure points. Are there some make-dos for the time being until you can go back through all that, or is it too dangerous to take that risk and stand all up that you haven't thoroughly checked over?
Well, we're not standing them up. We're having to redig a new pole and put a whole new pole in
So it's
there.
all new when one's down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
What about one leaning or the
And we're set. I had crews out here as early as Saturday assessing the lines that we were going to go down, so when we knew what materials to send. We were working in preparation, and we were going to have to drive all of these lines to look at them in order to make sure that everything's on. We do that just as part of our restoration, make sure, because there's no sense blocking a breaker and throwing a breaker in there if you don't know that it's going to come on.
And is that a time-consuming thing, or is that a quick assessment?
It's not overly time consuming. I mean, the part that I guess I want y'all to understand about this, because, and I'll use the 479 is the best example. We have a takeoff at 290 and 479 that comes south. I drove that line Sunday. The damage isn't as bad. We have 3 contractors that are up there, 3 contract crews are up there. I got a lot of boots on the ground. It's not going to surprise me if we get that 3-phase back on by tomorrow evening. Okay, and when we turn that 3-phase on, there's a lot of taps that come off of that, and depending on how long those taps are or what damage is on those taps, those feeders are going to come on too, or not those feeders, those pieces will also come on. So that's a big deal. So and it's going to be sporadic, because depending on which phase you're on, you may, and this is going to come for us, is my neighbor's got power, but I don't. Okay, and that's coming. And we're going to deal with it when we work that. We're going to try to work some of the major, when we turn that up, we're going to try to work some of the major taps and try to avoid as much of that as possible. It's a big job. I think we've done a lot of preparation, and so far it has followed suit, and we're actually maybe a day ahead of where I was hoping to be a week and a half ago. I think we're doing a great job. I got good people working.
Now, also for people to understand that you have a power line at the highway where it's your main road, and you have a long stretch to get back to your place. You may have problems in between there. That's not for you to deal with right now. You're getting power out to people on the grid. Can you direct any of these homeowners who have a down line on their property, what they should do?
Well, if they have a down line, because I've had people ask me, is there any way we can help? If there is brush from the storm or other brush that's in the right of way, obviously if those right of ways are cleaned up and we can drive right down versus having to trim and cut wood and move stuff on as we go, it's going to allow us to move faster. But we do not, when we try, I think that we've gotten every down power line off the road, because obviously you don't know if it's hot or not. I don't want anybody touching anything, any power line that's not an authorized personnel, period. We will, all the help that somebody can give us, we'll take. But in those down power line instances, we need to take care of that. And when there's 30 poles down, there's a lot of wire on there.
Follow up on Commissioner Lou's question. If you are responsible, or any power company is responsible to the meter, and if the meter to wherever it goes, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. In those kind of, if somebody's meter loop's pulled off their house, and we stop at the meter, we'll go to the transformer pole to the meter pole, and that's where our service ends. Okay? I don't really think that I've got much else. Those numbers that are on there, that are on that map, those indicate how many crews are in those areas working. When we get where that 3 is, when we get south, obviously when we get finished with that first line down there, we'll probably send 1 crew west, and we'll probably send 2 crews down here and split them up and start. You're going to see stuff happen. You're going to see.
What's the color difference?
The orange is out.
Orange is out and the purple, but all
The purple
By
is.
the way, nobody can see what you guys are talking about.
Well, the orange is out. The purple/pink is the 3-phase line.
So most of it's out. That's all, mostly orange.
That's correct. But you'll see a lot of pink even tomorrow. I mean, if y'all would ask me to come Thursday or Friday, I'd better report. I hate to laugh when I say that.
You're doing good. We're all okay with what y'all do.
The weather has cooperated terrifically. Another thing that I can comment, and many of you may have looked on our outage maps on our website. Mike, I don't know what y'all did with yours. Pertinalis took theirs down after a while, because when those rolling brownouts started, your map lights up, and someone has to individually go in there and take those out when they roll them off. And so you're just sitting there spinning your wheels trying to keep up with that map. So I would not pay any attention really to that map until next week, because we've been trying to clean it up as we go. I am hopeful. I'll go on this one. I am hopeful that we're going to have all of our 3-phase in the air by Sunday. Okay? I'm not going to commit to that, but I think that we're going to have it. If we don't have it all up, it's going to be a significant portion. We've got that many people out there working.
This, what you're dealing with in the outages, this is physical poles on the ground, lines on the ground. How much apart, if you know, you may or may not know, did that play in this rolling blackout availability?
Nothing.
Okay. We need to know.
I mean, if they'd have been on, they'd have got rolled.
Right.
And I was in the roll part, and I don't know how y'all got rolled over here, but I was on for an hour and I was off for 2. And they might as well just turn me off, because that heater wasn't going to heat that house in the hour that it was on, and it's going to be off for 2 more. It was
It's
wasted.
like 8 hours off and 45 minutes on.
Okay, well, I can only speak for myself. I was out of power for the first 25 hours of the thing. I lived fairly close to town, only about 4 miles from the substation, so it didn't get, my area didn't get so bad. Later on, though, in the middle of those rolls, my wife said we went off at 12:30, and when I went to bed that night at 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was 41 degrees in my house. I mean, I lived it also. Okay?
Can you, or maybe possibly you, one you know this, it seemed like the rolling brownouts that ERCOT was doing was at random. I mean, we got ours at our house, the first one, we were very fortunate, we had power for a long time. And then they started the rolling well after everyone else had heard was having rolling blackouts, or whatever you call them. And then we had a rolling one, and then power came on 10 minutes later, the tree fell, and we went out.
Yeah, the rolling outages for K-Pub, C-Tech, and a lot of the other, small utilities in Central Texas are managed by LCRA. And LCRA turns off a substation transformer at a time. It's a big chunk of load. To manage the rolling outages yourself, you have to stand up a 24/7 dispatch center. You basically have to be able to respond to ERCOT within minutes. And we had looked at that, K-Pub had looked at that in 2011, and the event we had then wasn't this painful, and we decided that it didn't make sense to stand up our own dispatch center. You're talking about quite a few personnel and everything else. We'll be reevaluating that. I've talked to C-Tech's engineer about it as well, because one challenge or one problem you have is you drop the load for an hour, all the houses get colder, and when you try to turn it on, what we were seeing is the load increasing in the neighborhood of 40–50%. And then on our
Why is that, Mike?
it's just because,
More energy required.
well, say you've got 1,000 customers on a circuit, and their ACs or their heaters are cycling on and off. So you don't have them on all at once. Well, if it's 6 degrees outside and you turn them all off, an hour later, everyone needs it, and so that's why it jumps up so much. For some of our bigger or more heavily loaded stations, that meant when they turned it back on, the substation transformer was overloaded and it would trip out. We had all kinds of headaches with it.
So when people hear that something would have burned up, you can't put that kind of overload. If you have a switch that goes off just like your breaker at your house, if you force that on, you can create failure or fire or a hazard.
Yeah, you're talking about overloading a $500,000 piece. It's really more like $1 million these days, $1 million piece of equipment, and we can't.
That you can't get next day.
Right, with a 6-month lead time or an 8-month lead time even for an emergency.
When people know this stuff, they're more understanding. When you just hear we were seconds away from the whole thing going down, then everybody can call BS on that. But nobody knows what the future is.
That was exaggeration.
We need to know.
Yeah, other things happen too that. At 2 of our stations, Rimrock, which is Kerrville South basically, and then a unit at Kerrville Stadium, which is like Scenic Hills, Scenic Valley, Sidney Baker North. When they interrupted those LCRA's equipment at Rimrock, they lost communications and they weren't able to turn the station back on. And so K-Pub dispatched.
Computer relay or what was it?
It's telecommunications, and I don't know if it's LCRA's fiber or leased line. So we had to dispatch a crew out there to our personnel to re-energize. So that outage, instead of 2, it turns into 3 or something like that. And that was in the middle of the night. It got my house, and so I knew when it happened, and so we had problems like that. And I'll tell you, operationally on the K-Pub side, Monday through Wednesday, we saw more problems at the substation level than we normally see in a year.
Mike, how are critical facilities like hospitals and things like that done, and what could be done for water distribution plants and things like that in the future?
So we can, there are customers that saw people who never got their lights turned off, and that a lot of that was customers fed by the substation that serves the VA hospital and Peterson Hospital and the state hospital. We keep the hospitals on, we keep natural gas compressor stations on. If we operated a local program, we could do smaller blocks of load, and we could be more responsive to local needs.
Okay.
And that is probably going to be a pretty compelling case now to go ahead and stand up that dispatch center. We may look at working with CTEC or even Bandera to jointly do something where, you know,
You're gonna decentralize maybe.
Share the cost.
And we had a call from Windstream saying, we're gonna lose our switch here, their generator went downtown, that switch feeds 911. And we couldn't get any change from LCRA on their plan. I think that 911 was able to reroute. There were other issues across the state where are with the LCRA guys. And I'm not trying to kick LCRA or anything. It's very chaotic in those control centers when you're dealing with that. And LCRA is dealing with it for a very big region of Central Texas.
So Mike, you and CTEC both can control or distribute the electricity or the power within your area.
We have to follow ERCOT's directives.
But so let me ask you a question then. So if you say you're assured to provide power to the hospital, let me just use that.
Right.
So how do you do that when ERCOT is telling you what you can and can't do?
Well, ERCOT tells you that you have to shed, what ERCOT says is statewide, we need 15,000 megawatts turned off. And then LCRA is managing this program, and they know that their share of that is, say, 6%. Okay, so LCRA's got to shed 6%. I think they were shedding about 250 megawatts, which is like 25 substations.
Okay.
It was just
Not
tons.
shed, you mean just turn the power down?
No, turn it off.
That's what I mean.
So how do you,
Turn it off.
so let me get my answer. So how do you manage that to see that the hospital stays on, for instance?
They have a list and they have stations that will not be interrupted.
So that's not your control, that's
LCRA.
LCRA. Gotcha.
And
Thank you.
it's part of the plan in advance. There are also a couple stations that are on another shedding program that it's an automatic, it responds very quickly to the type of event that human interaction can respond
So
to.
LCRA is controlling the substations. That's,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Just comments earlier from a design, to give you a perspective on what CTEC got hit with. The National Electric Safety Code sets the design standards for utility lines, and they have 3 zones across the country for wind and ice loading. And it's light down on, believe it or not, light down on the coast, and then medium. And the medium lines we're right on the border of medium, and then heavy starts at about the northern Texas and then up through the northeast.
Let's see.
Light zone, which technically Kerrville is in, is you don't design for ice. The medium zone, which Fredericksburg is probably in and northern Gillespie County is in, you only design for a 1/4 inch of ice. They had 1 inch of ice.
Wow.
And then the heavy zone, which is, Maine, is only a 1/2 inch of ice. So,
An inch of ice would not be anything.
right, an inch of ice anywhere across the country would have created massive outages. They were very responsive. We were coordinating with them Thursday and Friday as the storm came in, and we had crews working Saturday before the rolling outages started. Saturday they were working over by 479. Yesterday the crew was back over there repairing damage that they had repaired a week ago.
Okay.
So we put up cross arms that got torn down again by more ice. So brand new, literally brand new cross arms in that case. So I think that's all. I think that's all I had unless y'all have questions.
Bob, I got a question for you. Letting the other guys ask questions, but the main thing, when everything hit the fan, y'all are under siege, trying to get back what you could up, get crews out, been working tails off around the clock. But what 75% of my calls, emails, texts, everything I get from people is just the utter lack of communication. Why can't you tell me, am I looking at days? I mean hours, days, weeks, you know. Man, if I know it's gonna be weeks, I don't like it, but man, I'll go to Houston and visit Junior for a week or something, or stuff like that. And and that's, the PR part of it has been a disaster.
That's a great question. This is the best answer I can give you. Where we were and where we are and where we will be until that 3 phase is in the air is kind of a global message. Once we get the 3 phase in the air, we will be able to scope down to areas and give better information. It's like today, I mean, me driving down 479, you get to the end of 479 down there, and if you asked me on Sunday, I'd have said, you're probably looking at a week. It might come on tomorrow. Because if you're on one of those spans, taps, then there's a chance it's going to come on. I got all my information people, all my phone answers together yesterday because they were telling people it could be 1 to 4 weeks. Well, the general public, they're here in 4 weeks and they're like freaking out. And I don't think it's good. My hope is that by the end of next week that we have this, and I'm going to try to cover under 1,000. We're currently at almost 6,000
homes.
Meters, yes, meters. Okay? We are blowing and going right now, and if the weather holds, we are going to make remarkable progress in the next week.
Okay.
And we will do. I mean, the thing is this morning I get a call from our national association, Touchstone Energy. Okay, this is 600 co-ops across the country, and the lady used to be an employee at Pedernales. Her name's Ann Harvey. She said, Bob, I just want to congratulate you on how great a job y'all are doing in your communication effort with your members. Okay? Now they're not down here with their power off. They're watching as compared to what we've done, to where other places in the country have done. We're doing great. I understand and I agree with you, and we're to the point now, and this is my opinion, that everybody wants to know about theirs. And I can't tell individuals about theirs.
Yeah, I was just hoping
That's
maybe
the
y'all
hard
could.
We're going to be able to do that better very shortly.
Okay.
This is just an observation that we, like most people, so much of this is going to report online, report on your phone. Well, when you don't have power, you don't have, in the rural area, you don't have phone and you don't have online. That's what we're here for. So, I mean, and if you can't get off your property very easily, there's a problem. And I don't know how you solve that, but I know it's a pretty big issue. You can't communicate. You're told to do it. You're told to, I'm a bad era. And they say, well, use your phone app. Well, right. But I don't have.
And that goes to what I was saying about once we can get focused down, we're going to have the ability to say, if you live on this feeder or you live in this area, we can send a message out to that app that said we have the 3 phase on and we'll be working the taps. So that's an update, okay? And those people are going to see, and when you see the trucks, then you know it's not that much longer. It may be another day, maybe 2 days, but we're getting there.
Well, I would urge you to get stuff out as quick as possible.
I've done radio interviews. I did one this morning. I did one with KRV, and I'm more than willing to do that. And as we get closer and know something that's relevant, I am absolutely willing to do that.
Well, and neighbors can help neighbors if they don't have internet, or I got my email yesterday with my bill for last month, so I know we can get them out that way. And if neighbors get it, they can share and call or what have you.
I would like to find a spokesperson in some little areas where if I could call 20 people and know that they could help me get the word out. The guy that's at the coffee shop in Hartford most of the day, I don't do that because I'm halfway making it up. But if I've got his phone number, I can put him on a communication list and send something to him, then he can help with that. or the lady, we had there was a grocery store up in Cherokee.
Right.
If you all know where Cherokee is.
Yep.
I mean, as an example, she get the word out in Cherokee.
Well, I can tell you right now, we got a whole cluster of outstanding volunteer fire departments that have been heroes through all this. And that's where a lot of
You
information.
know what, that's a really good idea, and we can make a focus to send updates to the fire departments because they can get the word out. That's a great
Great guys
idea.
behind you have been making welfare calls and everything through all of this, even without electricity and water at their own homes, So, that's where people are.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
I will pass that along.
One other thing, some people are scared out there. They've heard rumors, and I know, Mike, y'all came out and said there's not gonna be any of those highly inflated bills coming out to your customers. And so people would like to hear from you that, these next few bills aren't gonna go through the roof as far as,
Well, I can't say for sure because I wasn't there, but I mean, obviously they've been off for 2 weeks, so they didn't use anything.
right.
The ones that were in the rolling brownouts, their bills are probably gonna be higher. Before the PUC got on the air the other night and suggested that you not have penalties or that you work with members on deferred payment agreements, we decided that last Wednesday. Okay, we're here, we're gonna work with them, these are our neighbors, they're our friends. We're not here to be hard with anybody, we understand, we're gonna do what we can and to make it as amenable as we can.
I'm gonna follow up on that question. I don't know. In areas of the state, you can pick and choose who you get your power from.
Yes, sir.
In our area, for being elected, you can't do that. You're in that club, you do it, I presume it's the same here.
Yes, sir.
My thought was that those high bills would come as people were switching and choosing, and maybe one company decided.
They're gonna get the worst of it.
Right.
Those ones that can choose are gonna get the worst of it.
Right. So what I'm saying is that I never noticed that my bill fluctuates a whole lot month to month. Does it fluctuate based on what you're buying your power on?
It does, well, I mean, there's a power cost recovery factor in most utilities bills. We try to manage that, we try to make, not keep it from bouncing. And I think we do a pretty good job of that, and we're a little bit, what our term is over collected right now. In other words, we got a little bit in reserve so that we're not gonna have to raise it, we can use that reserve to offset it. It's less than $1 million, but it's close to $1 million, I'm not afraid to say how much it is. So we've got some protection for the customer. And, depending on how we come out of this, if we get FEMA to pay for a whole bunch of this, we may be able to do something additional. If we have to bear this whole thing, I don't think we're looking at a rate increase. I think that it's gonna affect our equity. 30, 40, $50 million is gonna hurt anybody's pocketbook. It will affect our equity, but I don't see us, I do not see an additional financial burden coming to my Central Texas members, not mine.
Super.
Does Central Texas get any power from this alternative stuff, the solar and the wind and stuff, how much?
We're buying 10% of right now, we have our current contracts with CPS Energy in San Antonio. And it ends the end of this year, and then we go a different direction, but we're buying 10% renewables. And I can tell you that when we did that,
Are you required to do that?
I'm not required to, but it sure makes me look better.
With who?
With the people that think that we should use totally renewable
Doesn't make you
power.
look any better with me. It's all frozen.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any fans that.
I don't think it's out of place to say this. When we were evaluating when we first got our estimate from them, or their bid to buy power from them, I went back and it added, to do 10% added roughly $1 million to $1.5 million a year. On $30 million, that's 3%, it's not a whole lot. And then if somebody asks me, how much are you buying? And I stand here and say zero, then I've got a bunch of people, that aren't happy with me.
Probably got more that are happy than unhappy.
Now, if all your lines were still good, you would have been down by 10% anyway. You wouldn't have been, that would have been 10% you couldn't deliver, because that's all frozen up. even if all your lines are operable.
I'm not understanding the 10%.
10% of what you deliver comes from alternative energy source, renewable.
No, well, it's not a flat, I have a contract to deliver the power. What they would have done in that instance is they would have had to deliver me power, and then the next month they probably would have sent me more renewable power. It doesn't say that 90% comes and 10, it's 10% per year.
Right. Okay.
So they can do it in the summer, they can do it, I don't care how they do it. But I have a contract that says my power is covered.
It's not a constant 10% of what you.
No, sir. No, sir.
That's good to know.
I know we've got a couple other people here who want to speak to different matters here.
I know you've got certain time constraints, we don't want to hold you over too long.
Gotta go put 3-phase up.
I wanted to thank you because you did reach out to people. You did, it was your initiative, and Janice sending people emails saying, this man's available to be on the radio and do interviews and let y'all know what's going on.
We're trying.
It's good to take that initiative, and
We're trying, it's a big service territory, and I can't be everywhere at one time. We're
but to do
trying.
it all was
No, I appreciate you being stand-up guy and come in here and taking
If
questions.
we'll have another
take
meeting next
meetings.
week and I can be here, I'll be here. I mean, I'm here as you need me. I mean, Mike can be my mouthpiece over here. I can update, he's gonna know what's going on, he can keep you all updated. But until this is over with, I'm available, and this is what I should be doing.
Can I speak before you leave?
Rusty, come on.
I've got Wayne Musgrove, Cheryl Cardwell, Rusty Kimball, Brian Alexander, and Charles Holt are the ones to speak.
Come on up, Wayne.
Here's my bill. I'll be carrying it, but I hadn't had a chance to get over to Fredericksburg.
Hey, Wayne, is that your bill or is that your payment?
This was his payment.
Oh, but he said bill. He said bill. I just want to make sure he's paying.
You know, I want to say thank you to this guy and to Mike and also to Don. I'm 81 years old and I've been through a lot on the Gulf Coast with hurricanes and power outages. I have COPD, so you can't hear me, I'm trying to do my best. Anyway, these boys are doing a wonderful job. I'm gonna tell you that. I know everybody in this room, and these guys are doing a wonderful job. I called Don the first time my power went out. It's been out 11 days. I turned around. No more than I called him, but he must have called K-Pub, because here comes K-Pub with a truck and 2 trucks, and the guy coming to my address. And I said, no, it's not here. It's a tap line, it's a fatal line. So I took him around and showed him all these trees that were hanging over. And the ice is bad on the line, but these trees, these big old trees that are growing over out of the right of way, and their branches are hanging over the lines. When they go, and the boy told me it was K-Pub wasn't even in that right, in their area. They were over in my area. And he said, a lot of these folks don't want to cut these trees. I said, well, don't want to interfere. And it's something this commission, I think, needs to address. If a tree, regardless of where it is going to impact the public if it falls, then the county's got a right to cut it. Because I rely on.
I'm looking at the county attorney.
Sir, I know.
So look at the county. You said we have the right. I'm not sure we have the right, Wayne.
We don't, but they do.
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry, Heather.
I rely on oxygen, and I have a oxygen generator in my house. It's very sensitive. It won't run on 58 cycles per second. It won't run on 57 cycles per second. It won't run on 63 cycles per second. It takes 60 cycles per second. which is what this guy delivers. And I can't get oxygen. Well, I was down to half a bottle. And the VA came through for me, came from San Antonio. That's another thing. There's not a place in this town they can refill my oxygen. Not the fire department, not a hospital, not anybody that can refill a COPD patient oxygen bottle.
You called me and I asked, can I come get it? Can I go get you some?
Y'all said they go get me a bottle, but there ain't nobody can fit it. I think that's terrible. We ought to have our volunteer fire department. We got wonderful volunteers. Doug was in here walking along with Doug. There he is, right there, Doug. Code Red called us. A lot of folks don't understand. When you turn the switch on, you get a surge. And everybody turns the switch on, like Bob said, and it knocks it right out again. Now, Code Red was calling everybody, said, don't turn on all your power. Just turn on the power that you need. But they don't understand that. Y'all need to communicate with the folks out in the woods like us and let them know. Don't turn everything on, just turn on what you need. Because that puts a load on Bob's grid, knocks it right out again. No more he sets it up, rolls it out again. So, from that perspective, communication, Rob, is his word. Every time I call Central Texas, I got a recording. I never talked to a real person, I talked to a computer. And they tell me, well, we're going to have to power if we get here in Texas, we can take care of ourselves, but we got to have good information.
Yes.
I got a generator. I sent my generator out to my neighbors that didn't have generators. We shared what I got well, but I can't get it up out of the ground without power. I put my generator on. I miscalculated the load, and I blew the generator out. I couldn't buy me a bigger generator. But the thing is, man, I cannot be critical of Central Texas Electric or K-Pub. K-Pub was there. Everyone in there did, their coverage area, but they were there for me. Now, you see these power poles, they got guy wires on them. That guy wire will only hold up so much weight. When one goes, that puts the weight on the next pole. Just like Bob said, the domino effect that takes place. Some people don't want guy wire on their property.
Yes?
By God, sometimes you just gotta do it anyhow. Because it takes public. And this commission, y'all are all served wonderfully well. And I have the one thing, one thing I want to say,
I'll just leave you on the road when we get there. We'll be
Tom never said anybody in his face that he didn't have backup for. His backup, I never sent a ship to sea or a barge to sea that I didn't have backup for the steering units and things that would go out. They had two bars. Only thing I can say to Bob is we need to figure for a worst case scenario, just like we do in business. And he needs to have a stockpile of things that normally go out when you have a crisis like that. Other than that, all I can say is thank you to all of you for stepping up, Larry, Lisa, Chris, all of them guys. They were always there for everybody in this county. And I, for one, as an old man, appreciate it.
Thanks, William.
Thank you for allowing me to talk.
Okay, next is Cheryl Cardwell.
Hi. I'm neighbors with the Musgroves. They live in the subdivision that we live in. How many of you are members of the Next Door app neighborhoods? I'm the admin for the neighborhood out there on 479, Broken Spur, Thrill Hill, Deer Run. We've been hit pretty hard. And I just wanted to tell you all some of the things that we've been talking about on Next Door. They're all reeling from the effects of the storm, of course, just like everyone else. But we've had no power, no water, no cell service. Landlines have gone down because of the trees and the ice. Many of the people out there are scared, angry, and some of them are at their wits' end. I mean, mentally about to give up. A small part of us have a well. There are several families that are on our well. We do not have power. The people that are using that water are from toddlers to the elderly. My husband and I, on one of the very cold nights, I think we saw the transformer go. There was an explosion. It was like fireworks. And since then, our water flowed to us through gravity flow until the tanks ran out. Now they're empty. We can't refill them because of lack of power. We've been told that we need a bucket truck and possibly a transformer, and that's what we're waiting for. But that's all we know. We don't know when. We don't know how long we're going to have to wait. We can't shower, wash dishes, wash clothes. We're using drinking water to brush our teeth. We buy plasticware, paper plates, and bowls because it takes so much water to wash dishes. We have to boil water to wash pots and pans. We filled our bathtubs with water before the storm, right after the storm started, for flushing toilets. That's gone. We filled ice chests with ice and snow to flush toilets. That's almost gone. Some of the people have had power restored to their homes. We were only out 5 days. Some have been 12 days. Little by little, we're getting our power back. Maybe one house at a time, maybe more. But most of them still do not have their power out there. The worst thing has been the lack of information. I'm a point person you could talk to, and I can get the word out to everyone in that neighborhood who is on next door. We share a lot of information, sometimes misinformation, rumors, and that sets everybody off. Just having information would make a huge difference. Now, we have been told part of Broken Spur will not be fixed because it's up to LCRA to do it. I don't know if that's, okay.
That doesn't sound accurate.
Okay, that's what we've been told, that you're waiting on LCRA to finish Broken Spur. So I'll let them know that that's not correct.
I don't believe that's correct.
Okay.
I don't know how it would be.
Well, that's all I have. I just want to let you know that I'm representing my neighbors, and anybody can get information to me and I'll pass it out to everybody.
I got a contact for you.
And that's just a typical phone call I get, it's just
Yep.
lack of information. Give us some kind of time frame.
They wanted me to find out, are we talking days, weeks?
Bingo.
How many neighbors are on your app there?
I would say there's probably 100 on the app. There's way more than that in the neighborhood. There's probably a couple of hundred
Wow.
homes in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Because Thrill Hill is long, and
Yeah.
a lot of it's rural, like small farms. Most of us have 5 to 10 acres. So we're spread out, but we're very close knit.
It's an effective way to communicate.
It's very effective.
Would additional generators help some people out there?
It would have, yes.
I would it still?
We ran out of generators. We all, thanks to, go ahead.
We use ours, but we're not using that, and we have to store.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, just
Put it on that well.
And that's what we did. Everyone gets on next door and says, I'm out of firewood. Boom, neighbors bring me firewood. I'm out of water. They bring me water. I need a generator. Everybody shared those until they ran out.
Neighbors helping neighbors.
Yeah, I can give my, not have my information, you can get it, and then we have one or two, and then the other two.
Yeah, and if you need my name and phone number, Wayne, I can give it to you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. Next is Rusty Kimbrough.
I'm Rusty Kimball. I'm from West Turn, out down home, and I'm not happy. I'm not here to congratulate people. I'll start at the top. The governor of the state of Texas just yesterday, was on Fox News and said Texas has its power back. He's oblivious. Texas doesn't have its power back. And from what I've heard today, there are people here that don't understand this is a time to get It's not something that is, you know, yeah, this is great, we're gonna get our local crews out there on, okay? And I am a 65-year-old veteran of hurricanes and tropical storms, and I've never waited more than 2 weeks to get my power back. I've got a ranch, I've got a lot of animals. The ones that depend on the good Lord for water, with solar wells, are getting their water. The ones that depend on your electricity are not getting anything. That's idle truck to them. Okay? It's a time to vent. The way I understand it, the president agreed with the governor of the state back when he had the correct information that we have a national disaster declared. The way I understand that is we have resources. What I don't understand is why I-10 is not clogged in both directions. Power trucks, poles, crews coming to fix this. This is a time to vent. One thing I get across to people, I know it's a time to vent, you know, my personal inconvenience is one thing. But I'm in here right now because I can take care of myself. My animals can't. They depend on us animal husbands to get out there and take care of them. And we can't do it without power. What happens when hurricanes and tropical storms come is those trucks start lining up where they can, and then they rush in there immediately. And 1,000 poles down, 2,000 poles down, that's nothing compared to half a million on the coast of Texas. You know, and they get that within two weeks usually. All of my residences down there that I have lived in over 65 years got their power back within 2 weeks. So it's not something to congratulate each other over. You know, whenever we're sitting and you're telling me that it might be another week, there were rumors out there that it might be April. Okay, I assume that that's not true. If that's true, then why are we asking for the resources of the rest of this nation? Every contiguous state in the nation has, the last time I checked, there hadn't been a hurricane in February. Those crews and those trucks are sitting over there in those other states. And they're waiting on a phone call. You've got the power of a national disaster declaration, and you've got a cell phone. You can call, and the way I understand it, unless I'm wrong, you know, somebody from this county ought to be telling the governor of the state of Texas he made a fool of himself yesterday. And I don't think anybody did. And somebody ought to be calling the governor of the state of Texas and saying, hey, look, do what you can to get these crews down here to help us. Because K-Pub and C-Tech doing it by April is not good enough.
I have 25 outside contracts. I have 150 outside people.
That doesn't impress me. That doesn't impress me. I'm telling you. I want to hear 1,000. I want to hear whatever it takes to get power back out here.
So do I. So do I.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it efficiently and most importantly, safely.
They do it safe. They do it safe. That's what I'm asking you to do, is protect. I know, I'm asking you to protect your employees by not overtaxing them and getting them help. Okay? Because they need help. And us ranchers and the people out there that are still living on generators and you know, dumping water in their boats, they need your help too. That's all it is.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball. Ryan Alexander.
Judge, I want to talk on 1.3, but I can enlighten them some. If y'all need water, all you gotta do is contact the fire department. I'll try my best to get y'all what y'all need. We have drinking water, we have some food, but bear with us if you need water for tanks or animals, we will get it to you, one way or the other.
You're non-potable for water?
Yes, we do. We've been doing it. The problem that we have is the cell phones are down and the landlines are down, and we can't let enough people know. The only way that we're able to do is Facebook, and then when people are coming to town, they look at Facebook, that's the only way. We've been door to door to meet a lot of people, especially over here in the neighborhood.
I heard that they told me.
We can't get everybody. I don't have enough manpower to make sure everybody. So, I'll give you my cell phone if you want.
Well, I really,
and then before this gentleman, Brad Ryder was out, and he was going around passing out water. And he went to her house, he went to Judy Barry's house, Judy's got 4 horses. He brought them water. I mean, this gentleman, Mr. Alexander, at that volunteer fire department, he did the same thing. They always called him, we'd be there. Now, we got wonderful volunteer fire department. We're not using them, I don't think, like we should. And then for this gentleman, I've been to every hurricane on the Gulf Coast, that's got in the Gulf. And we had the Army out here. We send the Army to other countries. We send them billions of dollars. Yet we don't take care of our own out here at all. Now, that's what our administration was trying to do. But he don't want to get in there. So now we got another guy in there. But I'm going to tell you, man, and women, we got to take care of our folks. And we're not doing it. We're taking that everybody else. And Jack just showed me a picture on his phone. There must be 60 dead deer right there. For food and for water. Behind his truck.
The last person I've got on my list to speak is Charles Pope. Are you going to speak on 1.3 also?
Yes.
Okay, we'll come back to y'all then on that. Is there anything else on item 1.1? Let me share some information with you on this. For those of you that have not seen Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's presentation he made at Second Baptist Church in Houston on Sunday, go to his website and watch it. It's very, very informative.
We don't have service out there in the woods.
Well, I'm talking to the public so that people are going to look at it. He was very enlightening to talk about what our problems are with regard to electrical capacity. He gave us some numbers that the capacity in Texas, ERCOT, was 73,000 megawatts. And when the storm hit Sunday night, he says that they immediately hit 69,000 megawatts of usage. And that's when ERCOT called in to start the rolling blackouts. And they had them cut it back to 50,000. So 1/3 of our power capacity that we had was unused in order to protect the grid. Because if the grid goes down, they didn't think they could get it back up. It was just refreshing to hear a politician explain to us exactly what they did and why. The other thing that he talked about that I think is very important for us to take in this time of disaster is our power plants were not sufficiently winterized. And it's the way it's been for the last 10 years, he said, and it's done good for the last 10 years, but it failed us this time. And they had we get a report every year from ERCOT on whether or not they have sufficiently winterized our power plants. And they have a fresh, new report that came out just a month or so ago that we were supposed to be adequately winterized for these plants, and we were not. And so what the Lieutenant Governor is saying is that he's going to make it a legislative priority to address the capacity issues and to address the winterization issues in this legislative session. And the other thing that he shared in that presentation is that with regard to these adjustable rates and what it's going to do to our bills, that he and the governor are already working on a solution to try to help utility users and payers not get hit too hard with these bills. And he's made this a legislative priority for this legislative session that we're presently in. So I was happy to see a statewide politician step forward and accept the responsibility that we're going to get out of this thing. And so, as bad as it is, we are in a state of disaster. As bad as it is, we're going to get out of this thing. And we're going to do it from the state on down.
Judge, before you go to the next one, I don't know what I want to comment on, just take a second here, 1.3, but I talked with, I know I've got a lot of calls, people that are served by Aqua Texas about their water situation. And I talked to the gentleman before the meeting, and as of now, it's earlier today, they sent out notices, all of Aqua Texas water systems are now drinkable except 3 in Kerr County, and that's Saddlewood, Velvet Heights, and Horseshoe Oak. And those 3, they're waiting on the water quality test to come back, and they should be back online tomorrow for those 3. But everything else from Aqua Texas is up and running in the county. That's all. I've had several emails today about that.
There's been a lack of communication there as well. People not getting the word out to people. What they were facing as far as length of time without. You know, a lot of people, Windmill Ridge was in that group. Just wondering.
Let's move on with the agenda. I'm going to skip over 1.2 because that's an action that we can take once we've heard all the people that have come to talk, share with us. So let's go on to 1.3. Consider discuss emergency assistance for Kerr County residents who have been impacted by the winter weather event. And this is Doug Thomas.
Afternoon, Judge. Afternoon, Commissioners. I want to talk a little bit about the FEMA assistance that's available to the public and to the county themselves. So on February 12th, Governor Abbott issued a disaster declaration for the entire state of Texas ahead of the weather event, and he requested both public assistance and individual assistance for all 254 counties. FEMA, once the declaration was approved, decided that there were only going to be 77 counties originally that were given both public assistance and individual assistance. Kerr County was only one. One of the several that did not get included in individual assistance. So yesterday, there's been several recovery phone conference calls, and the easiest way for Kerr County to be included in the individual assistance is for folks to access what we call it's a TART. It's a website for FEMA. It's basically a survey that will allow the state and the federal government to see that we do have individual homes damaged here in Kerr County. The more of those that we get, individual homes and businesses, by the way, the more of those that we get into that survey, and the federal government sees that we have a significant number of homes and businesses damaged, then we should be included in the individual assistance. So what I've done is we put that website out on our Kerr County Facebook page yesterday. It's also on the website. There's also a QR code that can be accessed from your phone if you want to complete the survey that way. So the public assistance part, I'll kind of give everybody a little bit of facts about what the public assistance is for. So Kerr County's already been approved for public assistance. But there's several categories when it comes to public assistance. There's category A, which is debris removal. Category B, protective measures. C is roads and bridges. D is water control facilities. E, public buildings and contents. F is public utilities. And G, parks, recreational, and other facilities. So currently, under the public assistance declaration that we're under, so far it's only for emergency protective measures, which is category B. So that basically involves reimbursement for the cost to run congregate shelters. Some emergency damage repairs can be included in that. Overtime for individuals like the sheriff's department folks that work overtime, work on highways and stuff like that. So we're working on those right now. We're trying to make up to our county threshold, which increased as of last year, and is now $187,583. So once we get into over that $187,000, which I'm pretty sure we're going to match, we're going to make it pretty easy. We should be able to get assistance for all the other categories: debris removal, roads and bridges, water control facilities, and all those other categories. So on the individual side, individual assistance, Just some of the things that individuals can be reimbursed for. Homeowners and renters in officially designated counties who sustain damage to their homes, vehicles, personal property, businesses, or inventory may apply for disaster assistance. This assistance can include grants to help pay for temporary housing, emergency home repairs, uninsured and underinsured personal property losses, medical, dental, and funeral expenses caused by a disaster, along with some other serious disaster-related expenses. That disaster assistance is not taxable income and will not affect their eligibility for Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare. So, what I'm asking everybody to do now is if you had some type of damage to your home or your business, whether it was a water line that broke, you had to pull out sheetrock, your carpet's all wet, please take pictures of those, document it any way you can, and go online and fill out that survey. And that will get, I'm pretty sure Kirk County will get bumped up into the individual assistance. They started out with 77 counties, 31 more were added yesterday, so the more of those surveys we get in, and I can monitor that every day on WBC to see what's been submitted.
Could you, would you keep us updated on that as it goes? And again, Doug, that's on the county webpage, it's posted, Facebook page for the county. I know I put it on mine last night, I think, and all the forms are accessed on either of those sources.
Yeah, I've got it right here. It's https://arcg.is/u is in Union, O is in Ocean, R is in Robert, O is in Ocean, and B is in Boy. You go to that website and fill out the survey. It's going to ask you several questions. Most of it's drop-down boxes. You fill in what type of damage you had. You need to put in a dollar estimate, just your best guesstimate on your dollar damages, whether or not you had some contractor come out and look at it. Doesn't matter, just whatever you think that dollar estimate is. If you've got pictures, you can upload those pictures in there so that somebody's actually seeing the documentation. My concern at this point is we have a large population here in Kirk County that does not have access to the internet. They don't have cell phones. So I'm trying to get somebody to give me confirmation, yea or nay, whether or not those pictures are absolutely necessary. Because if they're not absolutely necessary, I want to be able to use the call center, the information center we have over there. We can access that website. We can do the survey for those folks.
Now, do you include on that property damage like trees that are down or brush, or is it only construction?
No, it's only construction. Now, we do have access to debris removal under public assistance if we get it. Right now, as we're approved, we just got to do that threshold. And everything that I've seen from talking to all the power companies and the water companies, we're going to make that threshold. That's not going to be a problem.
Get that information out to the surrounding churches. I bet that they can help get that to the folks that they know in their congregations.
We're going to try and access the ministerial alliance or ministerial group to see if they can help us out with that.
I'm having a hard time understanding why I don't just tell them I'm an insurance company. I don't get that.
Well, that's going to be one of the things that they're going to ask you on that question on that survey. Are you insured? The first thing that's going to have to happen is your insurance is going to have to take care of your property. So FEMA will reimburse or will pay you for what was not covered by insurance, whatever your insurance is covered.
In the past,
Yes. You gotta take deductibles into account.
Yes.
do they pay for it or do they give you a loan?
No, once we get the individual assistance declaration, if somebody has a property that's been damaged, they will we'll give them a website, another website, another phone number that they can go to register with FEMA. And FEMA will tell them at that time whether or not they're eligible or not.
To be reimbursed or for a loan, or both?
For reimbursement.
Reimbursement.
Actually, it's direct payment, so if you tell them,
Huh?
yeah. In fact, it's already happened on our district on a conference call. Somebody's already been told that they're going to get $6,000 to pay for their damages.
Wow.
So, but,
Welcome to socialism.
So they go into, they'll register on the FEMA website. They'll be contacted by FEMA, and what they do now is they do, instead of a damage assessment team coming out, with all the COVID protocols and everything, they do it virtual. They'll call you on your cell phone, walk around the house, and show them your damage.
The last thing I'm gonna do.
You want to really walk through your house?
Yeah, they've already seen it.
They seen the roof.
I wouldn't be surprised if they saw more than that.
So it just kind of filled everybody in on some of the things that are going on as far as the recovery part of this. We are working on our DSO. Hopefully we'll have some of that submitted this week. There's only been 87 DSOs submitted statewide. Our DSO, when we reach our threshold, it helps the state reach their threshold. So we're trying to get all that information submitted.
DSO again for the people watching.
DSO stands for disaster summary outline. And they've asked us to concentrate on schools probably because they were also using shelters and electrical calls. We've had all those here, so I still got to make some phone calls to some others. Bandera Electric gave me a rough draft yesterday of what their expenses were. And I just talked to CTEX, I still need to talk to the local Colorado River Authority. All the water companies, Aqua, and them as well. So I'm very confident, actually I'm pretty confident we're going to get make our threshold.
Which was
$187,000. So that's what your total expenses are minus insurance. But one of our electric companies already thrown us over the threshold.
Was there an indication of why this number of 254 counties got reduced to 77?
No, that's just that's a FEMA thing. I don't have any clue what FEMA did. The only thing I can surmise is number one, it's either a largely populated area or they've got a past history of needing individual assistance.
Well, my impression was that they knocked it down. It's that the disaster order that the governor declared is for all 254 counties.
Yes, sir.
And what they're doing is starting up slowly. So they started with 77, they added 31 yesterday. I don't know what they've added today. But I know counties all over the state are turning in their disaster declarations to get on board.
Yes, sir. So some of the other things we were doing, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about an order for a Star Request, order 20 pallets of water. The state is also sending out 254 trucks, one to each. Well, they're sending trucks to each county with food and water. I received 38 pallets at MREs today, at 21,880 meals for out of that, and I should already have a load of water every day. So we're trying to distribute that to volunteer fire departments and use those as pods, especially out in the remote areas of the county where folks will have to come here as far to get it. We've got it at the youth event center right now, and we're already starting to do that. And I had some additional supplies coming from the Red Cross, cleanup kits, and some more heating wheels or MREs.
The San Antonio Food Bank set up at the Methodist encampment this week. Did you coordinate any of that with them?
We actually used First Methodist Church as a shelter. A lot of the food that comes from a lot of the Hill and Mustard Seed Ministries does come from the food bank. Yes, sir.
Anything else for Doug? We have some people that want to talk on this subject. I know we have Brian.
So I only have 3 minutes, right? No, I have a couple of questions. I haven't been able to talk to Larry yet, but one of the things I want to ask is why we haven't set up an EOC last week. We should have had one set up last week. There's 2 outside counties that already had their set up. Why didn't we have one?
Isn't that a question for Doug?
We just walked out. So, let's wait for him to come back in. The other thing is, we're talking about trying to pay back what overtime and all that. We need to address what's going on in Mount Home. Alright. I've had water come from Comfort that was given to us. And then we went to Harper Sunday and got water and food there. We have not gotten any help from Kerr County. So we need to come up with something. We had 76 people show up yesterday for food and water. We ran 106 calls last year. As of Sunday, we've already done over 200 calls since this thing began. We've run ragged. All right? And the biggest problem we have is we cannot get everybody. Okay, there's just no way. All right, Sheriff Department's done a lot. We've done a lot. Other volunteers done a lot. But one of the things that we ran across was, that I want to bring to y'all, that probably could be a simple fix maybe, is our repeaters went down. Our communications, all right? I was a smart one that ran out to our repeater out west and threw a generator on. All right? Our biggest problem we have out west is communications, right? Why can't we get these cell phone providers to go out and set up generators so they can communicate, right? I mean, we know we're not going to get, it doesn't matter. I mean, not for us. Why can't we get hold of the cell phone providers and say, look, we have, I mean, there's emergencies going on. People can't get hold of us. What are we going to do? I mean, I understand the majority of the county is safe right now, but we still have the far west end of the county that's not. So we need to come up with something, you know. AT&T is about the only one that hit and miss out there. The rest of the cell phone providers do not work because there's no electricity. So can we get a hold of those cell phone providers and ask them to put generators out there? Can we get somebody in? What can we do? Y'all have an answer?
That's the first one, it doesn't hurt to ask.
I'm telling you, for 13 days I've been without electricity and my mind has been going ticking, and that's the first thing I thought of last night when we put generators in cell phone towers to make it work. Because one, everybody's running ragged trying to check on people because they don't have any way to communicate. Landlines are down, cell phones are down. You know.
It's going to be an issue of money, of course.
Well, if we're going to get
Probably we'll have to raise it ourselves. Let me ask you a question about, you said Kerr County provided nothing. Who did you contact or ask?
The first time I've talked to anybody is Saturday. And Don was the one that called me, and we talked a little bit, and then
Did you let anybody know you needed food and water?
we didn't, until it snowed, we didn't know what we needed. Okay?
You gotta let, did you contact certain people?
Doug just did the other day. So you need to remember, but you know what? We have an emergency coordinator. That's the job. Okay? Whenever I'm running that many calls, taking care of people, there's a lot of stuff that gets behind. So we have an emergency coordinator that doesn't do that, right? So that's what I'm asking.
That's a two-way deal, though. I mean, if you say we need water over here and food over there, and turn that request over to Doug, it really is his job, as you say, to make sure this stuff happens. We will keep turning. And the line of communication has to stay open, and it goes both ways. He's not going to know that somebody needs water.
If we had the EOC opened up, it should have been already done. Because the other counties that are right around us, that's exactly what they did. The fire chiefs didn't have to coordinate nothing. It was already done. So, I mean, as far as I know, Saturday was when he placed it on our water, right? Okay? And he just got it today. We already have other counties that got it. So when my curiosity is when the day were. But I mean, I think we need to do something now. I mean, we have a water problem. We're trying the best as we can. You know, we almost had a fuel problem. I tried to contact Don in the middle of the week, but his cell phone was down because everybody else was down, to figure out what we're going to do about fuel. Luckily, we had enough to go on. You know, Doug contacted me about the little hospital that we have there for the kids on the respirators. They needed fuel. We took care of it out of our pocket. Okay. We gave people firewood. We've given people gas to keep generators going. So somewhere along, we need to start getting y'all help, figure out what we're going to do.
Probably all need to sit down after this and see where where the problems were.
I agree.
What didn't get done, what worked well, emphasize the stuff and reinforce the stuff
Well,
that worked well.
what I've been trying to tell everybody is, we need to do that. Right now, we gotta get things fixed. There's too many people right here without electricity and water. These guys, these volunteers, many of them without electricity or water at their house, and they're out there making welfare calls and stuff. And like I said, they're our heroes. We need to get things fixed, then we can start saying, yeah, we could have done a better job here and there, and get down to the nitty gritty. Right now, we need to get these guys whatever they need.
Well, a lot of it's availability. I went looking for water for a family out in West Kirk County today.
I noticed it said that they have meals and water that just came in.
That just came in today.
And the ag farm, we just figured you had to get it out. You're, might not know our department, they probably buy.
Yeah, but it's not just to let the professionals do it. Each one of us, everybody that knows somebody can help, and that's what I'm talking about.
It's sharing the burden.
So kind of what I started doing when all this stuff was going on, like, this, I'm gonna throw Thrill Hill in the mix. I ended up finally getting with one person and said, look, why don't you take care of that road? Okay? So it made it easier on me.
Sure.
Okay? That person made contact. When we made up chili for everybody one day, I took it to that person and said, here, you distribute it out to that neighborhood, which helped out a lot. Like I said, our biggest problem is there's no way to contact anybody. You know, the most aggravating part is the people that have just left. We're doing welfare checks and they just left. We're beating on the doors, trying to figure out where they're at. There's cars there, but they had somebody with a pickup truck come and get them. It's very
It's
aggravating.
hoping they're alive.
Yes, you know, and I mean, there's people that, and Sheriff can agree with this, there's people that we don't even know, you know? And so, like I said, that's where I thought about if there's any way that we can get generators somehow, some way, or maybe some cell phone towers, then people can call and say, I'm okay, I'm all right, you know? His dispatch has probably got millions of calls that come in at the middle of the night where we're having to check up on people, and it's like, why didn't you call me today? You know, they're doing it late at night.
A lot of us out there in the community have got fuel and water. My well is into a river. I get 36 gallons a minute. And I'm fortunate to get it. I got 400 gallons of diesel. It's red diesel, but it's in my plate. I got a tank, another 400 gallon tank, and I got set up gasoline. But I never bought any gasoline with it empty. But if I had it in there, it'd be available to the communities out there, agricultural people that's got this stuff out there. And I'm going to be glad to serve our community with my diesel and my gas. But we need some spot, some central spot that we can report in, like I call them out on Friday. And since I have a stop on, and then I'm calculating about 68,000 gallons of water in it when it's full. If you need water out here, they got some trucks, put it out, we'll go to the firehouse, put it out there in our area. In this central place.
I kind of tried to rephrase it, but I don't think anybody in Mountain Home, just especially the ones I'm talking, they're not asking for freebies, okay? If we had a fuel truck out there, I mean, look at, if y'all had to go get fuel last week, how hard it was. And for them to waste their fuel to come all the way to town and be bummed out you can't get fuel, that would have helped out. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's many people that would pay to have fuel propane. I mean, propane was another issue that we had, you know. And I agree with Don, I think later on we sit down and come up with some better things, but now's the issue. But the biggest issue is how do we contact them? I can guarantee you we can probably get the sheriff's department, every VFD involved, and we will not cover it in 1 week out there.
Well, Brian, do you have any idea what size generator it takes to get these cell tower operational? I mean, that would be the first thing. The generators are probably somewhere, I mean, I don't think they're huge.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the one that for our radio repeater, which would be Firecom West and ours, I just have just a little 3500. It don't take much.
50 kW. Running rate.
Yeah, what we have here that runs the courthouse, you don't need something that big, but it'll depend on the usage and the amount of, it's gonna be a formula.
I mean, nothing but a cell tower, I would not think it would be that much.
Wouldn't need that much.
Just to get power, I have no idea, but I mean, that would be the first step. Because communication, I agree, communication to this whole thing has been the biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is, it's very hard. I mean, it's like, you can't call landline and, everybody, some people just don't understand. Why can't you just drive? I mean, you'd be amazed at how many people couldn't get out.
Right.
And we didn't want them to come, believe me. I mean, the first 2 nights, our first 2 snow days, ice days, we ran over 40 calls on the interstate. I mean, we don't want them to come out. But I think we need to focus on somehow figuring out communication. Somebody brought up code red. Well, you know what, the code red is great when the landlines work. Or cell phone. It doesn't work. The next door deal, I'm going to talk to her about it. I talked about, maybe, we talked about trying to do something, but it's the same problem. If they don't have cell phone service, they don't. And he made a good comment, neighbors being neighbors. It really does. I mean, neighbors need to check on each other. So, I mean, it does, but like I said, we need to figure out somehow for communication. I don't know if we can put a little bit of twist on the cell phone providers to make them. I mean, I don't know.
You'd think they'd want to.
I can tell you right now, when it comes to hook up your telephone, if you don't have electricity, their stuff's not going to work. So I think we need to try to push more to the cell towers underneath. So, because I can tell you, there's a lot of us, if it wasn't for our repeater towers, there was no communication. It was very aggravating.
There's 2 issues that you brought up. One, is there a way to get it up ASAP, and then go to the companies and see if there's what it would cost, or if they will be willing to put generators on these locations.
I'm dealing with Doug and help me get, or fill out paperwork for STAR. And so we, matter of fact, here probably the next hour, we'll have a 50-watt generator at the station. I know it's pretty hard right now, but maybe try to get more from them. I don't know if they'll do it or not. But, I mean, somewhere along the lines.
I took I think a 6250 out to Divide yesterday, and there was another one, Dub, at the disaster people where you told me to get that generator. Yeah. And it had a broken part right there, and so it's useless. We tried to start it, but I don't know how long it would take to get apart, but there's some generators out there. And they were supposed to be getting another one in. That somebody was bringing back in that had borrowed it for a while and didn't need it anymore. So we'll keep an eye on them. And if you're in contact with them, if they get one in, let me know. We'll try to get where it can be used.
So Doug, my first question was to do EOC. Why couldn't we have done one early on? Like last week? So they maybe get things more coordinated.
Well, we had an open soft, but we couldn't even get into EOC, so everybody was working remotely.
Come up to the microphone.
So it was mostly about getting shelters open at the time. But I will say the communication in any disaster, whether it's a large disaster or small disaster, is always an issue. And particularly in this one, West Central Wireless was down. AT&T, as far as my person had, which was for first responders, police, worked great. So I think that's something that I talked to the sheriff just about a little bit. That's probably something that you can take a look at. I never had an issue with AT&T first.
I did, but that's just me using.
Don't leave, we gotta have free. Guys.
I'm right here.
Within the power business.
And I never knew you tried last. It didn't show up that you tried.
Cell phones went down for a lot of people.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we can do about that for the future, and that's something we need to sit down and talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And while people are watching this, and that's what I want to stress as much as anything, share this information, because just a little bit of information just makes somebody's day that's been isolated, that may not have internet, may not have cell phone service. If you can check on that person or even call them, even if they have cell phone service but don't have internet or something. Share what you learned today from C-Tech and K-Pub and everybody else. That means a bunch to them. Not knowing that's been a big element in this whole deal for people, and worked on it. I mean, that's 75% of my calls are that. They can deal with it without being without stuff, but not knowing, or somebody saying it's going to be 2 weeks, it's going to be 2 days, or whatever. That means a bunch. And then the rumors start. Sometime in April or something like that. And then it just spreads. Or you're going to get a $2,000 electric bill. Those rumors were out there and stuff like that.
Well, all people got to do, I'm serious, I told newspaper people yesterday, go to I-1041 and drive down 41, go no more than 4 miles, and you'll see the damage just like that.
Bingo.
I mean, kudos to Central Texas. I mean, they are trying their best. I'm in the same boat as everybody else. I have had electricity for 13 days. No water, no nothing. All right? So I'm in the same boat as them. I'm doing the same thing. But when you go out and you look at it and see how much damage it is, it makes sense. It's not an overnight deal. It's just not.
Yeah.
So, but Judge, on back what I was saying, will somebody maybe check with phone companies, maybe an answer to somebody doing it, to see if we get cell phone providers, maybe twisting them and see if they put generators out, or can somebody do that? Or?
I'll do that.
Okay. I know majority out there is Verizon and 5-Star West Central. Y'all have anything you want to ask me?
Hill Country telephone working?
No, unless you have electricity, it won't work, especially with all the fiber optics.
Right.
If people in the community want to help, how do they reach you to
They
offer?
can call my cell phone.
You wanna tell
Go ahead and tell us.
830-377-3624.
Repeat it one more time.
830-377-3624. And believe me, my phone's where I grew up. If I got a penny for every call.
I know. I was there yesterday. It looked like y'all had a good amount of bottled water yet, and you still had some of the buckets of 5-gallon buckets from the breweries.
Yeah, I almost forgot. Kerrville Fire Department came up the first day after the snow, and they brought us 100 and something buckets of water. That helped out real for right then and there. That helped out. So,
And I don't know how long this is going to drag out. And I talked to you about that, the big deal. I'll buy some, but if
well, the problem is refrigeration. I mean,
they have to go straight on the pit and start.
well, majority of us all are prepared. We all have a lot of meat, but if generator goes down,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to play in all this.
You bet.
Like me personally, I've already used over $700 of fuel to running generator.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of money.
Yeah.
We need to get back on the agenda here. I've got this one lady that's been on the line for 50 minutes. Charles, if you want to go ahead, because you're on the list.
I just want to reiterate on some of the stuff like the EOC and everything. That was really important in our area. I mean, we were kind of left out in the dark, even with requesting things. At West Coast Wireless, my phone was down. All the stuff we tried to do was go to the radio through the sheriff's office. There was a lot of places in our area that, you couldn't get through that ice chains. We were running patients to ambulances, picking them up. We ran about 100 calls in 6 days. We've given out 275 cases of drinking water. We've put out about 24,000 gallons of non-potable water to people, 6 cords of firewood. We've manned our station for 7 or 8 days. Some of the stuff that I've come every day is the first tell everybody my cell phone number, which is 830-377-2420. It's 830-377-2420. If you need anything from us, call us or call the fire station on Facebook, like it. But there's a lot of people that are not able to get things, and we're doing the best that we can. We're pretty resourceful as volunteer firemen and everything, trying to get what we can to help each other. So, but like I said, with that, we just try to do the best we can.
If you don't know, this is Charles Holt with Centerpoint.
Yes, I'm the fire chief over there. And the biggest rumor that people are thanking us, they're like, man, I bet you got some good overtime this week. They were surprised to know that we were putting in 18-hour days with no pay.
No pay.
So,
You didn't get a pay cut.
Right. So that's the next
the good
thing I came
news.
here to do is, through all this hardship of COVID and everything, everybody's trying to do what they can. Donate to your volunteer fire departments. We need it. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do. So, also, I came here today, also, we're having our ESD meeting March the 6th at the cafeteria Center Point at 6 p.m. So whoever can make it, please attend that meeting.
The school cafeteria.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's the date again?
It's March the 6th at 6 p.m. And I would also like to thank a few people while I'm here, if you don't mind. Mini Mart, they allowed us to fill up our trucks before they opened. We were almost empty. New Mart, they were open without power, taking cash, doing the best they can. Pal Feed opened up to give me chains so I could build snow chains for my pickup to be able to pick people up. Harry Holt with Integrity Waste Services, he donated a lot of food, a lot of water, a lot of time helping these people and doing things for us. So if I got anybody, I'm sorry, but there was a lot of people that helped throughout this. Kendall County, huge help. I got almost 4 pallets of water from them. I took some out to Mountain Home for them folks out there. We just did the best of what we got, but it would have been more if we could have got together a little better. We need to work that out somehow.
Yeah, I know.
So,
a lot of this, phones and everything else. One other thing, water at your station, is that off well or?
we're off of Aqua, Texas, so we didn't have water either. We didn't have any power. We did bring up a small generator to put 2 space heaters in our station to keep the pumps from freezing up.
You have water now?
We do have water now.
People come get water?
Yes. We have bottled water, we have non-bottled water, we can deliver it,
Good.
whatever they need.
Well.
We just got MREs today, my assistant chief went and picked them up, so we'll have those available this evening. So if anybody needs anything, call me, call the station, like us on Facebook. We update as much as we can. We're here for y'all and whatever we can do. So, thank you for your time.
Ma'am, you still on the phone?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Can you identify yourself?
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Can you identify yourself?
My name is Renee also.
Excuse me?
And I'm at 24727 State Highway 16 North.
Could you repeat?
Renee, right? Repeat your name?
Yes. Renee Brooks Lafaso, also Massey, known as the Yard Art Lady. Hey, Harley.
I can't hear.
We're not getting it.
It's Renee Brooks Lafasso. Lafasso.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Take care.
Okay, Renee Brooks Lafaso.
You may speak.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I don't even know where to begin. Sorry. I have a couple of quick questions. Why did the county wait so long? I'm not repeating some of the questions I've just been asked you, but why did the county wait so long to officially make the disaster declaration? The governor declared a disaster on February 12th. The city made theirs on February 15th, and the county waited until February 22nd. Well, after the storm had passed.
Excuse me, I'm having a hard time.
We're still doing the whole thing. Why did the commissioners cancel yesterday's meeting? Cancel yesterday's meeting, and yet, I just don't understand. It was canceled on the 17th, but you could call an emergency meeting, every single day and minute that passes, we are struggling out here, big time. And the communication is, that's kind of a joke. Listen, Harley, I look to you because you're my commissioner, and I went to look at your website to get some sort of information once I actually could get online. And all I found were a couple of things talking about wind, solar energy, and China, and things that do not pertain to the emergency situation that we are dealing with right now. you know, I'm mind blown. You know, without a disaster declaration, certain activities are certainly hampered with respect to emergency. You know, like, could Doug Thomas have gotten on board with being able to do certain things last week if the declaration had been passed last week by the judge? Like, we are looking at you all for answers. And obviously, it's like, I'm just seeing this finger pointing game everywhere. And instead of someone, you know, taking action, you know, the governor was in San Antonio on Sunday with FEMA and a whole entire statewide crew. Why wasn't one of our county commissioners or the judge calling over there or even driving there Sunday to say, yo, we need help? You know? I mean, come on, y'all. Like, we have to look up to some people because we're just trying to survive right now. And it is very difficult. So we do look to you all. Hell, we pay you all, so we certainly look to you all to not just, you know, look around, but to take action from the very beginning. Not take action a week later. I mean, I have faith in every single one of you that you can get out there, start making phone calls, do something. I mean, cross state lines. Louisiana's right around the corner. That's where I'm from. We're very familiar with emergency situations with hurricanes. I imagine a lot of states are willing to help. Help! People, you know, do something, please. We are begging you all to do something now and figure out the what could have happened, what should have happened, all that. Do that later. But, like, yeah, I wish, you know, you all would have taken, it's like the county seems to fall back on, the city always seems to be ahead of the game with this. And yet the county always seems to, you know, track along the side days later. You know, as I'm trying to get in touch with my commissioner, you know who actually I was able to get in touch with? A Kerr County councilwoman who actually called my utility company in Bandera because we couldn't. So she was actually able to report our outage, which hadn't even been reported. They didn't even know that our power had been out for already 3 days. A city councilwoman did that. You know? Because I couldn't get in touch with anyone else at the county. Yeah, I mean, okay. That's really all I got.
Okay. You got the, thank you. Is anyone else? Okay, then the last thing we have on the agenda is actually 1.2, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the local state of disaster due to severe winter weather that was signed by me yesterday. And we have to bring this to the Commissioner's Court. We put it on the agenda because that way we can go on 7-day cycles.
I think you just have to ratify it within 7 days.
Right.
So that it can continue until y'all.
And if we ratify it, then it continues automatically unless we terminate it.
That's right. Yes, sir. That's correct.
So that's what we're trying to do.
Sorry, I couldn't see your face looking at it.
So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and ratify the disaster order that will remain in effect until we terminate it. We'll review it every week, just like we did back when we were under the state of emergency with the COVID. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Ballou. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. There's 3 of us here. Passes 3-0. Is there anything else before the court at this time?
I just want to state for everybody in Precinct 1 that my number is clearly on the Facebook page and the website and every place else. And it is 830-329-8810. It's always been available, so.
Okay, there being nothing further before the court, we are adjourned.